An emotional explosion rocked the heart of Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion, was reportedly furious after the team's internal chaos peaked at the Monaco Grand Prix. The race was originally expected to be a moment of revival, but instead turned into a stage for embarrassing drama. The team's prestige was tarnished in front of the world, and Frederic Vasseur's position as team principal is now in jeopardy due to a series of fatal decisions and chaotic communication. Is this the beginning of Ferrari's downfall? Let's discuss it. Hamilton has defended Ferrari for 8 races, but his collaboration with racing engineer Riccardo Adami seems increasingly fractured. Even senior F1 journalists have long sensed this rift, especially since their heated radio exchange in Miami, when Hamilton insinuated that Adami was getting tea. Hamilton tried to calm the tension by saying he joked around like that with Bono, Peter Bonington, at Mercedes. But the atmosphere was different. Imola offered a glimmer of hope. Hamilton started in 12th place and finished in 4th place, a performance that generated optimism. However, in Monaco, where overtaking is nearly impossible, the drama erupted. From 5th place, Hamilton asked on the radio, "Are they still a minute ahead?" What was Adami's answer? "Not directly." Hamilton pressed again, "You didn't answer the question." "But that's not important. I just asked if I'm a minute behind." Adami finally replied, 48 seconds. That was enough to set the tension ablaze. But what was even more painful came after the race was over. On the radio, Hamilton could be heard asking quietly, "Are you mad at me or something?" There was no reply. A silence louder than words. Hamilton finished 5th, 51 seconds behind the winner, Lando Norris. When asked by Sky F1 reporters about the radio message, "This is our race," Hamilton frowned and said, "The information is not very clear. I don't know what I'm fighting for. Am I fighting for the next position? When I look at the data, I'm not close to anyone. I wasted a lot of tires, but I was still far away." Team boss Fred Vasseur was quick to put out the fire. According to him, Sainz's failure to respond was not a personal problem but a technical one. Radio communication was not permitted in the turns 1 to 3 area for safety reasons. He was between the walls, going 300 kilometers per hour. "We agreed beforehand when to talk. It's not about us sleeping or drinking beer on the pit wall," Vasseur told the media, trying to quell the rumors. However, the public knows that when a world champion asks, "Are you angry with me?" over the radio, it's no small matter. In the paddock, whispers were already spreading. Trouble was brewing inside Ferrari. The relationship between Hamilton and Adami was not improving. Hamilton's adaptation to Ferrari was slowing down. The team seemed to be struggling to manage the expectations of a superstar hungry for victory. Hamilton was falling further behind in the standings, 63 points behind Oscar Piastri, who now leads with 161 points. "I feel like I'm in the middle of nowhere," Hamilton said bitterly. A 3-place grid penalty for blocking Verstappen in qualifying added insult to injury. "The gap was big. I couldn't compete with anyone. I needed a safety car or something to come into play, but that didn't happen." A turbulent and tense phase is upon the Ferrari camp as Formula 1 2025 approaches. The legendary Italian team, which has always been synonymous with glory and victory, is now facing a performance crisis and internal turmoil. Ferrari's 2 mainstay drivers, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, are both languishing in 5th and 6th positions in the driver standings. This has forced Ferrari's management to consider extraordinary measures to restore the Scuderia's dignity. Fred Vasseur was appointed team principal at the end of 2022, replacing Mattia Binotto, and was entrusted with bringing Ferrari back to the top. However, a bitter reality awaits. Under his leadership, Ferrari has not won either the Drivers' or Constructors' Championship. In fact, with 177 fewer points than the leader McLaren, Ferrari is in 4th place in the constructor standings, far from their ambitions. Although there was a promising improvement in performance at the Monaco Grand Prix, it could not hide the fact that Ferrari is still not competitive. The internal drama has not subsided. Tensions between the drivers and technical crews have become increasingly apparent. For example, Lewis Hamilton was visibly upset and ignored his race engineer, Riccardo Adami, in Monaco. At that moment, Hamilton asked on the radio, "Are you upset with me?" This became a symbol of the communication breakdown and frustration eating away at the team. Fred Vasseur, a 56-year-old man with a successful reputation in other racing worlds, is now the scapegoat for Ferrari's crisis. He has a proven track record of building successful teams, such as Sauber and Alfa Romeo. However, the expectations at Ferrari are much greater, and the burden is very heavy. Scuderia management is said to have lost patience and is preparing drastic steps. According to an exclusive report by Bild, Ferrari has made Christian Horner the main candidate to replace Vasseur. This would be a revolutionary change for the Red Camp. Horner is no stranger to Formula One. Since 2005, he has led the Red Bull racing team, making it a dominant force over the last decade. Under his leadership, Red Bull has won 8 Constructor and Driver World Championship titles, including 4 with Sebastian Vettel and 4 with Max Verstappen. However, Horner's current situation at Red Bull is not entirely smooth. Despite being under contract until 2026, tensions with team advisor Helmut Marko and the pressure of a challenging 2025 season have made his position somewhat unstable. Horner reportedly wants to stay at Red Bull, but the temptation to take on a rescue project role at Ferrari is strong. Interestingly, Horner's arrival at Ferrari will add a new layer of drama, given his long and sometimes contentious history with Lewis Hamilton. During the 2021 season, tensions between Horner and Hamilton reached a boiling point. After a fierce incident between Hamilton and Verstappen at the British Grand Prix in Silverstone, Horner harshly criticized Hamilton's racing style, calling it desperate and breaking the rules. Horner rejected claims that Hamilton was treated unfairly in Abu Dhabi, stating that Hamilton's loss was due more to the team's strategic error than to the changed rules. However, Horner acknowledged Hamilton's professionalism in accepting defeat and called the driver graceful and dignified when congratulating Verstappen. Now that the two are on the same Ferrari team, their interactions are expected to be a major focus throughout the season. The situation at Ferrari is about more than just performance on the track. It's also about the heated internal dynamics. Hamilton's annoyance during the Monaco Grand Prix is an example of the communication crisis and distrust that threatens the team's unity. Ferrari's top brass are believed to be aware that, without radical changes at the top, their chances of regaining glory will continue to diminish. Recruiting Horner, who has proven successful at the highest level, is certainly not without risk. Horner is known as a firm, sometimes controversial leader, but his ability to build a championship-caliber team is highly respected. With this in mind, Ferrari hopes to restart its stalled engine. If Horner joins Ferrari, it will be one of the biggest managerial transfers in the history of modern Formula One. It will not only change the face of Ferrari but also have the potential to shake the balance of power in the paddock. Furthermore, with Lewis Hamilton now under the red banner, every race will be full of intrigue and personal competition. Meanwhile, Frederic Vasseur's future looks bleak. He must accept the bitter reality that he has failed to restore Ferrari's glory and that his position is in great danger. The drama at Ferrari has reached a crescendo that cannot be masked by past glory and glitz. With 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton's temper flaring and the team's internal communications cracking to the point of threatening its cohesion, it's clear that this is more than just a matter of on-track performance. Ferrari now stands at the most dangerous crossroads in its modern history. Can the Italian giant undergo a complete transformation to reclaim its former glory, or will the ongoing internal turmoil destroy its dreams forever? With tensions running high and the pressure mounting, one big question hangs in the air. Can Ferrari rise again as the kings of the track, or will they sink deeper into the abyss? Share your thoughts below.